Met you previously at one of my events, and learning about your friendship. But we'll start with just like your names and what you do, so that everybody knows.
Okay. I'm Diamond. My name's Diamond Stroder. You can find me on Instagram, DiamondJMUA. I'm a Minnesota makeup artist.
Mm-hmm. My name is Loreda Rose. I am a singer and songwriter here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I also own a candle line called The Face Brands, and you can find me at Loreda Rose, and then you can also find my company at The Face Brands.
Love it, love it. So again, I wanted to bring you guys here to really, talk about your friendship, because I was so, and myself and everyone else who was there at the event was so blown away just by how close you guys were and just how you became friends in the first place.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what is, like, how important it is, even now, how important friendship is. Especially during Corona, you have quarantine, and you're so isolated. A lot of people are going through depression. How important is friendship during this time?
I think I'll start. It's just, to me, like, honestly, if I didn't have someone that I could reach out to every single day, no matter what time of day, what I'm going through, like, that would really be hard. And it's like, you can't always say, hey, I want to call my family. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need someone that's on the outside that could, like, that knows you well enough to be like, okay, like, calm down, it's okay. And you actually just like, okay, you're not just saying that because you're my family. You know what I mean? Like, you really are reassuring me in this moment. So it's just like, with everything going on this year, it's just like, it's only, I feel like, made our friendship stronger, if anything.
And what about you, Louise?
I think it's an easier transition, or it's easier to digest what's going on right now when you have a best friend. She's technically like my sister.
At this point.
And it's because our energy is like nothing. Obviously, we can't see each other as much at the very beginning, but our conversation is just absolutely the same. Like we would, what was it? What movie came on? It was some girl movie. I don't remember, on VH1. And we could FaceTime each other and watch. And have
that's
one,
so cute.
and be able to just do little things like that, and even if we weren't able to, we'll be able to catch up. What was it? The Monica and Brandy?
Yeah.
I was working, so I wasn't able to watch it with her, but we can have that conversation
I love
afterwards.
it.
You know what I'm saying?
I
So
love it.
when you have someone that's there, and that is that close to you, hard times isn't as hard. It's
so
because you're able to, lean on someone else.
Yeah.
And whenever you're feeling down, they can pick you up, and vice versa. So it's not as difficult to go through hard times when you have someone who's there for you as we are for each other.
When did the friendship start? Well, I learned this really. Like, it started at work, right? At your previous
Yeah.
employer.
We both were working at Seven Steakhouse.
Okay.
And my dad actually, both our dads worked there. Her dad was a chef,
Sous chef, yep.
sous chef. My dad was basically like the door,
Muscle.
like the muscle.
He's the
yes,
muscle.
the muscle and many other things.
Yes.
Because it was like one big family. Like,
It
everyone
really
was
was.
connected somehow. It was like either a cousin of mine worked there as well. So it was like, my dad was like, hey, you should just try to see if you can be a host. So I came there, and we really didn't really see each other that much for in the beginning, for maybe like the first, like, I want to say half of a year, because we were on different levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, I was all the way on the 3rd floor, which is just like, when you're on a different floor, you don't see nobody else. Like,
Okay.
and then
Yes.
I ended up getting moved down to 2nd floor, and me and her ended up at the host stand together. And then it just was
It
like,
was
from
just
there,
okay.
it was instant. Like, it was just like, we were both going through like similar things at the time, I feel like.
Yeah.
And was that like the relationship? Is that
At the beginning,
Yeah.
So at the beginning, it was more so like talking about the job, because it did come with a lot of stress. It came with a lot of work. So we had similar things to like discuss, and then we started to get to know each other a little bit better. And I was actually dating someone that worked there as well, and so she, as always, is the number one person I go to with anytime that I'm having any issues. So I would talk to her. She'd be like, girl, no, absolutely not. Like, and she was not having it immediately. So it was just like this big, you know, I can't really speak for her, but how I felt was that she seen what I was going through, and she just took me underneath her wing. It was like, you know what? We about to start kicking it. I'm gonna give you basically give you game about what's going on, like, and I'm gonna help you get out of the situation because it was so dark. It was so dark.
Yeah.
And it was like I said, hard times aren't as hard when you have someone on, because definitely she did take me underneath her wing, and I am so forever grateful. And that's exactly how we met, was around that time.
I love it.
And it's just been fun ever since. I mean, like, we've gone through some roller coasters, of course, of just like our own personal things that we're experiencing. But it's like, I know that, like, if I don't talk to Rita for whatever extended amount of time, like, the moment I pick up the phone, the moment we're in front of each other, it's just like wherever we start off, and it's always not like, oh, well, we got to go back and talk about that. No, like, just let it. We just keep it pushing, and so that I think that's what I cherish most.
Okay, so when you guys, it's like if you guys have an argument of some sort or a disagreement, does that happen often with you two?
No, but then also really weird. It's me. I'm not even like, it's really me, because there be times where I'll go through things and I feel like I want to run away from everybody. And I really respect that she understands that. So then when we do reconnect, she's just like, girl, what was going on? All right, now
that was like me at the beginning of our friendship too. There was like, that was like, I was the person that would just like held everything in, dealt with everything on my own, and was just like, I'm here for you though. But like, I wasn't like,
but don't be there for me.
But don't be there for me. I'm too strong. You know what I mean? And I think it took me getting to vulnerable states and just to say like, it's okay to need other people. Like, it's okay to open up and lean on like a good girlfriend. And I think it's just once you find that person that's sort of like your twin flame in a sense, where you're just like, okay, like I can really trust her, like with my most vulnerable things and whatever. And it's not, I'm not going to be met with judgment. You know what I mean? It's just going to be like, okay, like we're going to figure this out together type, you know? And I think that's just kind of like what we've done for each other. Like whether it's her going through something at one point and then it flops to me, it's always the same.
I love it.
I would say two things. One, how to really be there for someone, because I used to be there for people with what I can give them. It's like she will show up any time. Like if I am all the way in Egan and she live all the way in White Bear, and I'm like, yo, I'm stranded, I need help, I don't know what's going on. See, back in the day, I'd have been like, dang.
It's like, sis, you want to go back home, you need, like,
I give you money, I give you Uber, I would not be going. But she taught me how it's, you know, when someone is your friend, I don't think I had a true friend. So that's why I wasn't able to grasp the concept of you really do go above and beyond for your friends. And so when I seen how above and beyond she would go for me, checking up on me, it made me pick up those habits as well, you know, checking up on not just her, other people, you know, that I would consider a friend, you know, and going above and beyond so much. Now she's telling me, okay, now tone it down. You're doing too much. You're doing too much for them. Like,
I do think that is a thing where it's like, okay, Rita, now you're nice.
Too much for other people.
Yes, but now I'm just like, okay, now you got to learn when to dial it back. When it's like, you can give. It's okay to give. It's okay to be there for people, but don't like really to the point where it's draining you.
She seems like she's more of like the wisdom giver in like the relationship or friendship rather, right?
She is way listen.
She's got you out of some trouble, honey.
Listen, she is okay. When I say she is one of the strongest friends you can have, like I know I'm emotional. I'm really emotional. Okay? She is really a friend that you really can go to and know that whatever advice she's going to give you is going to be coming from the heart and it's going to be genuine. And that is why I'm able to accept it a little bit more when it comes from her. So yeah, she's my older sister, of course. You know
I love it. So like even in the beginning where you were like checking up on her and whenever she was always there for you when you were, because I think that's so normal for women, for people in general, when you're like, oh, why is she calling me so much, or why is she checking up? Did you feel like suspicious about that, or were you like, oh, okay, she's really a good friend? Or were you like...
Well, at the beginning, it was me calling her because I'm like, girl, we need to hang out.
Okay.
It was me like, girl, I remember one time she was just sitting at home and I think it was National Pizza Day. And I called her like, girl, what are you doing?
She did.
Oh, okay,
And I used to get so mad at her because I would consider her my friend. And she'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm here with my coworker. And I'd be like, yo, coworker.
I remember that.
Who is your coworker? I'm your friend.
But I mean, I think also that came from a place of being like, if I say she's my friend, then the expectation that comes with that. You know what I mean? Okay, me saying that's my friend. And I think also it's like both of us were scared to be like, are you my friend? Are you my friend? You know what I mean? So it's like that females like too vulnerable. Like you just like, hey girl, like, you know, that's the home girl.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, no, like we've gotten to a place where we can both consider each other like a friend.
Yeah, I had to tell her like, I am not your coworker.
Yes. And I think it was from that day we both like we both were just like, okay, like we're actually friends, and I can say that, and I can tell other people like, oh, that's my friend.
That's my friend. Yeah.
That, you know what? Like this reminds me like of like being in a relationship. You know, and that's exactly what this says. Like friendships it's a relationship, and I think, you know, when a guy and a woman gets together, you know, it's almost like you don't want to go, are we together?
What are we?
You're so same thing with women. And I think what I really want you guys to release is, what does that look like? Like, how can women begin to trust one another? That way they're not like questioning like, oh no, this is just my homegirl, she cool.
Yeah.
You know, without that, like, because I think we all need really valuable friendships in our lives. How can we get to this place?
I think you have to be at a certain place with yourself first. It always like stems from like, oh, like not wanting to be hurt. You know what I mean? Not want to be disappointed by other people. And I think like when you go through so many battles with other people and you're just like, okay, well, wow, I thought that was my friend. And like they hurt your feelings, like that's okay. Yeah. Because I think I've learned that it's just like just like relationship, everything you go through is a lesson. Same thing with friendships, where it's just like, okay, duly noted, like, okay, I went through that, but now I will never forget it, you know, and I can like apply that to like being a better friend to somebody else or what to look for.
Right.
I would say, for me, it's not so much not getting hurt. I guess it's more so afraid of being, you know, judged for who I am, because I know I can be much, you know. I'm not gonna lie, I can be so much. I'm loud, even though I'm not loud, as loud right now. I can be super loud. I can be super overwhelming.
Extra girl.
Yeah, super extra. I'm a Sagittarius, a fire sign. Like I can be crazy. And I remember even just, you know, going on. I had just met a new friend, and I was calling Diamond like, Diamond, I think she think I'm weird. I think I think she thinks I'm weird. Like, and I don't even know how to make this right, but I think she think I'm weird because like I am extra. I already know.
What did you do? Like, what did you do?
How
much did you release?
I think because we were playing this game, Need to Know Each Other, like Never Have I Ever, or you know those type of games, you know.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, well, let me just be open, you know. I'm gonna be open. Afterwards, I was just like, Diamond,
I reveal too much.
She thinks I'm weird. She thinks I'm weird, and I'm just like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. But I think that is the main thing, at least for me, when it comes to having new girlfriends or new friends. The first thing that comes into my mind, like, all right, do I tell them I'm weird now, or do I let them figure out?
You gotta release. I think that's the best
the
part,
point?
though, is to like let all your quirks show out the gate, so then you know, like. I'm just not like this cookie cutter straight person. Like, I'm going to let you know, like, my crazy, rambunctious self, like, right out the gate.
When trying to find somebody that's new as your friend, it can just you can hold yourself back, I would say. You can hold yourself back because you don't want to be judged off of how you feel maybe you're like weird or something like that.
Okay. Have either of you had any jealous friends?
Yes.
And like in what kind of way? Like jealous of you or like jealous of your
No,
friendship?
I've had friends that are jealous of my other friendships. Like I've even had friends that like sort of like display like jealousy for like the closest I have with Rita, or just like all of my friends, where it's just like, I think when you like come through that transition of like being in your 20s in high school, where you're just like, that's my best friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you get older, you're just like, no, like you can, it's okay to have multiple best friends.
Yeah.
Like you like each one for different things.
Right.
And I think it's just like, I had to realize like, okay. And I think that's another reason why I like for a while, like I held back on being like, you're my friend or you're my best friend, because other people make you feel like
you're entitled to
like I can only hold that label so it's like you're like, dang, I don't want to like discredit you, but it's like I have this other friend that's my best friend too, you know what I mean? So I think you just gotta like say out the gate like, no, like, and don't
like,
let people
everybody.
and like not let people like try to put claims on you like that, to the point where you're just like, well, dang, I can't foster other relationships with other people, because then you're gonna feel some type of way, and that's not a friend anyway in my book.
I would agree. What about you, Loreda?
I wouldn't, if they were jealous, I wouldn't have picked up on it. I've had negative friends just in general, but as in jealousy, I don't think I've ever had someone who's like, that's my friend, like that.
Okay.
You know, I don't think I've had anybody like that, or like jealous of my success. But I have had negative friends in the past who were just negative, period. And if I did bring something negative to them, they make it even worse and rain on it even more. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's because they're hurt, obviously.
Right.
But I have had friends who have done that to me. So pretty much it's hard to pinpoint why someone's being negative. It could be from jealousy, but yeah, I don't think I've had, in my opinion, someone jealous of me or my other friends.
Right. So there's a lot of talk, like I was going through social media, and there's a lot of talk about like the support even just amongst friends. So, you know, the conversation or even just the thread itself was more so about, I guess there's a lot of snakes, you know, amongst friends, or you don't know who to trust, or my friend doesn't support me because they didn't buy my product. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, there's a lot, right? So it's, to me, I guess my thought is, you know, your friend can support you in so many different ways.
Yeah.
It might not necessarily be they're going to buy your product right away, but they might be at every one of your events. You know? So I think that, you know, people's perception and perspective of friendships are, they're jaded and like falsified with everything that's kind of going around them. So, like, can we speak on that? Or even because your friendship is so strong, what kind of advice would you give to people who are struggling with seeing their friends as just their friends and not as a customer even?
Yeah.
You know?
You go ahead.
I mean, if they're your true friends, it's not, they don't have to purchase a candle to support you. They don't always have to share something to support you. I know there's times where Diamond posts, she posts a lot, and there's times where I don't even see a post to like, but I'll go back later and like it, of course. But she doesn't take it personal. I don't take it if she doesn't like something personal. If I want her to like it, I'm gonna tell her like, go like this picture, please.
Right.
Go like it. Go like it. Comment. Because real friends are to support you through the ups and downs, of course, and support you through your growth in your business in other ways, in my opinion. Like you said, every event that I've had, Diamond has shown up to. Every single one. And I think she just purchased some candles. Like, I think I've been doing candles since when? January?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Since January? And she just purchased some candles. I'll be trying to give her stuff for free. I'm not going to even lie. I started trying to give her stuff. I'm like, here, just get this, take it. Because, you know, this is my friend. I don't know. You know, I like to give my friend stuff that I'm doing anyways. But she still finds a way to support. But if she didn't, I wouldn't take it. If she didn't purchase like an item, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, she's not my friend, because I know she is. When I need to call her for advice on like, hey, I don't know if I should do this label or that label, she'll be like, "Ooh, I kind of like this one better, and this is why."
Yeah.
Well, I don't like this one because this.
Right.
That is also supporting your business.
Of course.
You know, that's you're giving them feedback and helping them in other ways. It's not always purchasing something.
Exactly.
You know, so as long as they're supporting some way,
Yeah.
some form, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree. And there was another thread that I saw too. It said, it was this guy that posted this comment. It said, if you could do without any of these, maybe one or two items, what would it be? And it's like money, sex, friendships, books, and like food, and let's say cell phones. And most everybody said they can do without friendships. And I was like,
What?
I was had a heart attack. I was like, what? Why?
But I think that's
And
just a
what's
testament to the
happening?
times that
I
we're
would
in as
agree.
well, where it's just
I would
like
agree.
people don't cherish friendships anymore, or
Yeah.
friendships can be equated to, like people will think that people online are their friends
Yes.
more than people around them, which is so like weird to me, because I feel like you have to go through it though to like see
Right.
that, you know, like I think at one point like I felt like, oh, I have a lot of friends, but like then you just like you know, the genuine support does show, and it's like if I can't reach out to you and call you personally and be like, hey, this is what I'm going through, then 9 times out of 10 you probably aren't like a friend.
Right. I would agree. I would highly agree. I think for me, when I saw that, I was like, and like you said, it's a testament to the times. But I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I need friends more now, even more now because of what's happening. And I'm like, how could you feel like you don't need one? It's like, what are you going through? Like, why would you even want to go through life alone?
I would say,
you know?
in my opinion, is because they've never been introduced to good friends. And sometimes people already feel alone in this world, you know? And so that's what they feel more comfortable with. The reason why I say that is because before I met Diamond, I really didn't have that many friends. You know, I had friends, of course, in high school, but after everyone went to college, I think I was the one of the 4 that stayed here in Minnesota.
Okay.
And they were good friends. I'm not gonna say they weren't. They were good friends, but it wasn't that tight, loving. Like how close me and her are. Like now that I've experienced this type of friendship, I've experienced this type of love, I know that I can't, you know, be without friendship.
Right.
But when you aren't exposed to that, when you don't have that type of love in your life, you don't need it. It's like, oh, I already don't got it.
Right.
I mean, they're here, they're cool. I party with them, I turn up with them, but it hits different when it's this type of friendship.
What do you think it does to the spirit even? Like, what do you think friendships do for Black women?
I think it heals. Like, if anything, like the fact that like when you get together with like a really good girlfriend, like you should be able to talk about traumas together. And think about people that don't have anybody to talk to anybody about certain things that goes through. It's just like I've been there at a point where I'm just like, I'm holding this all in. I got this. I can handle it myself. I can be my own therapist. I can be my own friend. I can be my own partner.
That's a lot.
And that is so much. And you don't realize how much you're putting on yourself being that person and not feeling like you need anybody. It's like you can be a strong Black woman and be vulnerable and have moments where you're like, I need to release. Like, I don't need to be this strong Black figure to everybody else. Like, that's whatever you are to you.
I feel like when friendships start, how you guys, even when you were thinking, am I ready to even ask her if she's my friend? Because you were ready. You were ready to be friends.
I told her.
Right. And you quite weren't ready. Or maybe you were just really hesitant. I think that maybe, is it safe to say that, you know, women should start asking, is it okay to be friends?
Yeah,
Rather than placing the expectations.
Don't be scared. I think that's the biggest thing is like people are just, like I said, like just scared of either rejection or just too much expectation. But it's just like, at least you know where you stand. Right.
I would agree. I think at some point, rather than placing the expectations on another woman who could, you know, who has a family or who has kids or who has just so many things going on with her life, because maybe she doesn't have it. Maybe she doesn't have the energy to invest in a real friendship. So she, you know what I mean?
I think that definitely should be something that's normal. We should make that a norm. Because like you just said, maybe she doesn't have the energy, and you know, some people can't live up to the expectations because they don't know how to. It's not because they don't want to, because they don't know how to. They weren't shown how to, you know. And so just asking, I think that should definitely be something
that's
in
the
the norm.
criteria.
It's the ask.
Because it was just shock to me, like, but it was like what I needed, like, you know what I mean, like, wow, like you care enough, you know. And I think that was what easily was just like, yes, friend, because it's like, dang, like you care enough because you want to know where you stand in my life, like that's huge. And I think not enough people like show someone, they're just like, oh well, if we ain't friends, we ain't friends, where it's just like, if you want to be close to this person, just say that. Like, just be open and honest about it. Because it's like, then you're doing this little dance of, oh, I don't want to get too close. I don't want to get too close. And that's just, that's not good for anybody.
You know, so I'm 34, and I feel like it's such a tough time even for me to establish friendships at my age. Like, there's a point, like, I meet a lot of women, but I'm like, if I ever get invited out, I may go, or really, I may not, you know? And sometimes I want to, and I'm like, I don't really want to even put the time in.
Yeah.
Although, like, I really want the friendship, but I'm like, oh, I'm too tired. So maybe it's just being lazy. But what would you say to that even? Like, what does that look like? Or, like, I don't want to say diagnose me. But what is that? What is that? Like, I'm looking for friendships. Especially at my age, I think it's so vital. But what does it mean if I'm like, okay, I want to be friends, but yeah, whatever? Because I feel like that's how I am a bit.
Low key, that's how I am with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I would say it's hard to put energy into something new, like new, especially when you have so much going on. It's hard for me to connect with Diamond sometimes. We want to get together and be like, all right, let's do this day. And then the day will come and be like, girl.
Yeah.
My day is, it's not, it's already tough, especially when you're trying to be someone, when you're trying to elevate your career, when you're trying to push your brand in a certain way. Sometimes, like you said, should be the norm. We don't have the energy to really invest into new people and at that moment as much as a new friend would need.
Right.
And so when people are able to go with the flow with me a little bit, you know, like, okay, like I would like to be this person's friend, but at the beginning right now, I'm probably not going to be able to hang out with you as
I
much.
might not be reliable.
Yeah. And we could just like vibe like that. That's when I'll start be like, you know what? Let's for real hang out. Like, you know, I'm about to make this happen. Let's go for drinks for real.
Right.
Because they're not as pressed. Expectations aren't there as high.
Right.
And you know, I usually gravitate to people who have businesses anyway, so they understand, you know, so they definitely understand. So it is a lot. It's another relationship.
Yeah.
It's another relationship that you have to maintain, another relationship that you have to nourish, that you have to give attention to. And if you already don't have the time to give or the attention to give someone, then it's just, I definitely can see how it's hard.
Yeah, I would agree.
Sure.
I agree. You know, one thing I do with my friends now, if I'm calling them for anything, I always ask them, do you have enough space for me right now? Or do you have the energy for me right now?
Yes.
I always ask that, and I'm only receiving, and they're like, oh my God, thank you for asking me. Because right now I don't, you know? Or, yes, girl, I got you. Like, what do you need? You know, so I think that question is so important. Yeah. You know, because you never know what's going on in someone's life, you know? So let's talk about like the criteria. What is the criteria for establishing a friendship? What is the standard?
I mean, I think just general respect, like for boundaries, is probably like the biggest one for me, where it's just like, I know what my friend is comfortable with, like, you know, or if she doesn't like being around a certain place or aura or whatever, like I won't make her feel uncomfortable or be like, well, friend, you gotta go with me, you know what I mean? Or just caring, like checking in on me, even if you feel like I might be pushing you away a little bit, just send a text, hey, are you okay? Like, just sometimes it's just the little things, like the bare minimum, that I think is huge for me.
I would say the same thing, respecting boundaries, but in a different way. One thing that I really respect is just because someone's your friend doesn't mean they want to tell you every single thing. And you should respect their boundaries and let them tell you when they're ready to tell you.
Yeah.
That is something that's extremely huge, and not guilt tripping them if they, you ain't tell me that. Making them feel bad because obviously they weren't ready. Even though you're their friend, you need to still respect their personal boundaries. You know,
I feel
that's
like I've
one
had
thing.
to learn that
Yeah.
a little bit sometimes.
Is that between you two, or is that with like another friend?
No, between us
Is it?
even, like, where there's been times where, like, she'll bring something up and I'll be like, when was this?
Yeah.
Because you didn't
You
tell
didn't
me
tell
that,
me.
but I'm just like, you know what? That's okay. Like,
Yeah.
she doesn't always have to tell me right when something happens because it's like sometimes you're still navigating your way
Right.
through whatever it is that is happening. So it's like you can't think,
Force
oh my
them.
gosh, let me tell them every detail because it hasn't happened yet.
And you have to figure it out for a lot of people are figuring it out for themselves. So if there's a time where I feel like, you know, let's say Diamond, you know, I'm talking to her and I can feel like she's not ready to tell me, I will not push because I know she's gonna tell me when she's ready to tell me.
Yeah.
It's not because she don't love me less. It's not that she doesn't trust me, but it's just because she's not ready, and that's a boundary that I feel like if someone's your friend, they need to respect. Period.
And I agree with what you're saying in terms of like somebody needs to kind of go through it on their own. I think you allowing the person to grow, to learn, and gather whatever discernment they need to receive from this particular lesson that they just went through.
Yep.
I think is a maturity, you know, where you're like, okay, well, let me sit back and let them handle
Figure
this.
it out.
Yes, because I think if you're always on the receiving end of getting all of the information,
Yep.
then you're always. It's almost like and that's a boundary in itself, where you become the person who's always giving advice. And sometimes if you're always giving the advice, then it's like, if you're doing it all the time, I think that is almost like an energy draining in itself. You know, where you just want to be a friend, you don't want to be a mentor at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just want to be someone's friend. So I think it's really good that you allow enough boundary and enough space between each other to absorb all of that.
Yeah.
So I think that's
I
important.
agree.
And then lastly, back to respect. I think that respecting someone, if my friend feels like I've done something to them that they didn't like, or they feel like I disrespected them, I'm not jumping like, girl, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, or making it about myself. Like, if they put out a platform, if they put out a platform that says, you know what, you really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't really like what you did. I feel like you kind of disrespected me or something like that. Respect the feelings. You know what, I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
You know, and if that's how you took it, I apologize because I never want you to feel that way. But to start, you know, getting defensive or start, you know, trying to play a victim role, I do not think that is giving your friend respect, like giving them the respect they need to voice how they feel.
Right.
In return, what that's going to do is make them not want to tell you ever again, and might even ruin your friendship because they really feel like you don't care. And then on top of that, you know, you're disrespecting them and hurting their feelings. You know, so I think boundaries and respect is definitely the two biggest ones when it comes to a requirement for a friendship.
Yeah.
Even maintaining that, can I just listen to you guys' answers? I'm thinking like there's this kind of how we were discussing before, where women don't know how to even articulate their thoughts well enough to say, I have a problem with what you did yesterday, or you know what you said today I didn't like. So can we talk about that? I don't know what it is. And I don't just want to say that it's black women, because it's not. I think it's women in general.
It is.
But like, what is, because you do it so well with each other, what advice would you give women to be able to come, you know, and be so forthright with their feelings? What would you say to them? Like, how do women have a safe space amongst each other?
That's tough.
Well, I would say on the other end, if someone's telling you like you've hurt my feelings, two things. One, to get out your feelings when they give you their platform. When your friend is saying, "Hey, you hurt my feelings," that is not that platform to start talking about your feelings. Keep your feelings to yourself. They've put it out there. Let them talk about how they make you feel, and how you've made them feel. You don't go, well, you've made me feel like this in the past, so now what? You know, you don't do that. You hear what they have to say. It's they have the floor, and you know you need to check your own feelings while they're giving you their feelings. That's the first thing. Second,
and that's a lot.
That
right?
is a lot.
You just said a lot right there. Because I think that's even tough. Because not with my friendships, but even just like in relationships. For me, I used to go, if someone told me, I would go, No, hold on a second, because you just did that yesterday. But that would be me. So I think there's a whole lot of work you have to do inside of yourself to even get to a place to be able to say, shut that down for a second. Shut it down.
It's not about you right now.
Right. Yeah, that's a big step.
It is. Okay. And the way that I think of it is I wouldn't want someone to do that to me.
Yeah.
Like, I know how it feels when I'm frustrated because I know someone did something to hurt my feelings, and they keep saying, well, this is what you did, and you're taking it the wrong way. Yeah. I don't think it was like that. I think you're over-exaggerating. You're being dramatic. Gaslighting, that type of thing. I don't like that. So I wouldn't do that to someone else because I know how it feels for someone to do that to me. And so that is just I learned sometimes. I start to a little bit, and I'm like, you know what?
Like, this is not about you.
And I just go silent, and I'll listen. And that's when I start to, realize, okay, it's not my moment. If I had a problem with it yesterday, I should have brought it up yesterday. Okay? If I had an issue with it, I should have brought it. It's gone now.
You missed your moment.
Right. So, it's definitely just putting your feelings in and allowing them to have their time.
Yeah.
That's one big thing.
Yeah, I think it's just a show of growth where it's like where you're at, but I mean, it's hard to kind of be open and receiving, like we were saying earlier, where it's just like you just haven't had that before. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I think the biggest part is just like opening yourself up to being vulnerable and just speak your mind. Like, that's the biggest thing I could say. It's just like really speak your mind. There's definitely times in different friendships where I felt like, okay, that something did bother me. Yeah. But it's just like you don't want to like ruin the friendship, but I think if that should tell you right there. If you explaining how you feel or talking about something that bothered you or something that hurts you makes you feel like this friendship is on the edge, that's not a friendship. Because at the end of the day, we should be able to, as adults, not even just as women, just adults, be able to say, hey, this is what you did, I didn't like that. And be able to reflect amongst ourselves, like, okay, I need to check that then, instead of just being like, oh, well, I don't think I did that. You know what I mean? That just shows where you are. And so it definitely takes a lot of growth. And if you have a friend that's like that, that's telling you, oh, well, if that's how you're going to take everything, then this may... walk away, because it's not for you. It's not.
And in a way, if you think about it, your friend is supposed to be this is supposed to be a safe place. My feelings should be safe with you when I'm talking to you. If it's safe when I'm talking about this dude, why ain't it safe when I'm coming to you about something that I feel like you've done? When I need help with other stuff, I need that emotional support, or you give me my platform, you give it to me. How come you can't give me the same when I'm discussing something that I felt like you've done to hurt my feelings? Your friend needs to be someone that your feelings are safe with.
You said that. You said if I can come to you and talk about this dude, and you receive that, why can't I come to you and talk about what I feel in regards to what you've done? I think every woman could probably relate to that. So I think we already kind of touched base on this, but like, how important is friendships like after a breakup?
Oh, wait. I think they're very important, but it could also like tell you a lot about your friendship. Where it's just like, if I'm going through something and you're that friend that is like, girl, leave him. You know what I mean? Where you're not also someone that could like check me too. Rita's that friend.
I think that is so important.
Where very.
Oh my gosh.
Where there's times where I'm talking, I'm venting, and I'm like, this is what happened, friend. And then she's like, you was wrong, girl. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, no, this is about him. This is not about me. But it's like, you gotta be able to take that too. You know what I mean? And that's why I think it's super important where you know what type of a friend you can talk to about those things. Because there's some friends where you can talk about surface, but then when it's time to talk about some stuff that's really, I mean, like, this is your life. Whoever your partner is, this is your life. And it's like, if that person is so quick to be like, girl, dump him, without really trying to help you go through it, then it's just like, is that really a friend as well?
And to piggyback off of that, that's so true, because if you're there for your friend, you're also there for their relationship.
Right.
Because let's say they do get married, I need to be there for their marriage as well. So when they are, like, let's say, God forbid, like they do go through, something, I'm able to be there for my friend, like, and maybe he did do this, but then also you two, sis, this is how you guys need to make it work. Figure this out. This is where I feel like you were in the wrong end. I love you. I love you, girl, but you was kind of wrong. Why you say that? You know what I'm saying? Because you're there for their happiness, and if their happiness is with this man, break up or not, you help your friend figure out what's healthy first, and then how to make it work. You're not always down to be like, oh, you broke up, girl. F him.
Let's go out.
He's done. He's done. Back to the streets we go. Like, no. It's like, no, we definitely care for them. You gotta care for them, because it's really sad. Everyone's been through a breakup. Yeah. They know the anxiety that comes with it. So, it's important to be there for them. And if they decide they want to go back, it's your job to, to let them do what they want to do and just support your friend. That's it.
I think, Diamond, what you said in terms of like, when you have a friend, when you're going through a breakup, and if they can't show you your mirror, on yourself, versus just telling them, oh, honey, leave him. I think that's so important. That's so important. And thank you for sharing that, because I think that there's so many times, listen, this is going to be an episode that I think so many women can really relate to.
Yeah. And
I think they're just going to be able to pick from you guys and apply your lessons and your gems to their own friendships. Okay, what do you admire most about Loreda?
I heard this question, girl. Come on.
What I admire most about Rita is her organization and her like determination when it comes to like her wanting to do something. She's gonna make a plan. Like, that's not me at all. Where I'm just like, we just gonna flow through it. Like, she's very like calculated about everything, and it's like to the T, where it's like execution, A, B, and C. And I admire that, because I'm a huge procrastinator. And so it's like, when I see her, and if she comes to me and she's like, I got this idea, I know what's gonna happen. Okay. I know within the week or a couple months, whatever, there's going to be a plan. Yeah. And then next thing you know, she may not even talk to me about it. Next thing you know, boop, it's posted. And I said, oh, there she goes. She did it. And I'm like, wow, friend. Like, I know you said you was going to do that, but I love it. I'm here for it. So that's what I admire most about her.
What I admire about Diamond is, one thing I would say is Peter is one lucky man, because when I say Diamond, the way that she holds her family down, anyone down around her, is beyond me. It's like, you have that grandma who's just like the rock of the family. Right. You already know Diamond's going to be that rock of the family. You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy how she cares so much about her family. There's times where I would feel overwhelmed if everything was coming at me the way that it comes at my family, I would say. I would feel overwhelmed, but she takes it with such grace, and she's able to like maneuver through all that's being thrown at her and still hold it down and hold her family down and still be a good mother. So it's just like, I admire that. My little Zizi.
Oh, I love it.
And then she still, even after that, it's still a boss. Like, she works at the luxury hair bar. Oh my gosh.
I love it.
She went from the bathroom to
luxury hair bar, okay. To the luxury bathroom.
Okay.
To the luxury hair bar, okay.
Okay. And still, anything that's thrown at her with her family still will hold her down. Like,
I try.
Without batting an eye.
That is so, listen, that is beautiful. You ladies are so gorgeous.
Thank
and just
you.
The compliments, honestly, it makes you more attractive. Seriously. And I hope that you garner more friendships from this. And I hope your friendship, even just with each other, just gets so much closer.
Yeah.
Let's just tell people how important it is for for Black women to establish credible friendships amongst each other?
Ooh, I gotta think.
For me, I would say how important it is. For me being a Black woman, period, I feel like Black women are already top tier. We're already innovators. Like, having a friend that is also African American, Black, you know, it's something that's unmatched, in my opinion. I mean, females, for the longest time, have had this over our head, this thing over our head where it's like, women are always in competition with each other. Women are always jealous of each other. Women are this, women are that. But it's not 100% true. We have tons of women out there who want to see other women grow, who want to be a part of their development.
Right.
You know, and I lift you up, and then you lift me up, and we just keep climbing the ladder like that. It's extremely important because no one understands you more than someone who can, in a way, match your struggle. I don't want to say struggle, but matches what you're already going through. As, like I would say, when we're discussing, you know, we don't have the energy to introduce new people. There are women out there who have the same problem, you know, and not saying that it's a problem, but have the same situation. And so friends out there who can understand you, it's just, it's takes weight off of your chest in a way, because you know that no matter what, bad times or not, it's not going to be as bad because I have my friend. And with me going for this business endeavor, I know if don't nobody show up, Diamond gonna be there. Right there. Okay. If it's not, you know, it's nice to have that support. And if you haven't had it from, like, let's say your parents, they didn't give you that love, or just, you know, you have siblings who you're not as close with. Like I mentioned, I wasn't aware how to go above and beyond that much for a friend until Diamond came into my life. So it's important because they also not only support you and lift you up, but they expose you to new things that you might not have been exposed to while, you know, growing up.
Very true.
I agree. And I just think, it's especially when you're trying to, like, build yourself up into either, say, a businesswoman and stuff like that, it just really is important to have backbones. It's important to have people that look like you and, like she said, I mean, kind of go through the same struggles as you daily, to let you know, like, it's okay, like, we're gonna get through this. Like, and I mean, there's this one show that came back on Netflix, Girlfriends. I don't know if everybody's been watching it.
I love Girlfriends.
And, like, for me, like, that is the epitome. Like, I watched that show and I study it because I'm just like, when do we see that anymore? Like, when do we see a group? Now, we're not just talking about two, a group of Black women from all walks that can still come together and be like, I love you, I support you, I'll be there for you. And that's very seldom right now. And it sucks because it's like, I want, like, the younger girls to see that, because it's like, we had that growing up, but it's like, what you know, we have to kind of be the ones to kind of, like, show them, like, no, like, there are really good, genuine friendships amongst Black women, and we're not all just gunning for each other. We're not all trying to snatch up each other's mans, or, you know what I mean, be like, oh, talking about each other and snickering behind each other's backs. Like, no, I got your back. Like, it's not some, you know, oh, this Black woman does the same thing as me, so I have to go 10 times harder. No, like, why can't we come together? You know what I mean? Like, I think there's, like she said, a lot of competition where people feel like, as Black women, we can't do the same things. Like, we can all eat, we can all learn and progress in our own things and at our own pace, and that's okay. You don't have to look at someone else and be like, you know what, I want to be this, or I can't tell somebody this. I can't share this with somebody because they're going to steal my idea. You know what I mean? Like, just be open. You know what I mean? And I think that that's super important right now. It's just
Yeah.
like really maintaining friendships that are healthy for you and where you're at in your life.
And if they have the two things, the respect and the boundary for you, sisterhood can be one of the most amazing relationships you come across. Of course, you have your relationship with your man or your partner or whomever, but having that sisterhood, that bond, there is really nothing like it. Sometimes people are not as attracted to sisterhood because some people don't respect their boundaries and don't have respect for them in general, or keep that safe space for them, so they get turned off from sisterhood. But when you find a friend that has those things, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
I love it. I love it, ladies. I just have to ask a question.
Yeah.
Are you Joan or are you Tony?
Ooh, child.
Are you Lynn or are you Maya? Like,
I'm
which
definitely
girlfriend is
Maya.
it? Are you Maya?
I took a test and
I took a test and it said I was Maya, but that's okay.
Y'all
I
can
definitely-
be Maya now.
yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What did you? She said that I was Tony.
She Tony is.
I feel like I
And this
have a
is why
little
she's
bit
Tony,
of.
because-
I feel like I have a little bit of Joan, Tony, and Maya.
Okay.
I mean, Lynn, I'm a little free spirited.
She is a free
I feel like we have a
But
little
when I
bit of
say
all the
everybody,
girlfriends in us, a
okay.
little bit, don't we?
Tony has, when I say diamond dresses to impress, okay?
You
like
said she
literally,
came today,
she
right?
said,
You see the
listen,
boots.
Tony for real, okay? Tony for real when it comes to, like, listen, what was it, a Birkin bag? I wouldn't be surprised. Diamond's gonna come up with her own little Birkin bag, like, dead serious.
Look, I mean, that's on the list.
Yes.
But I'm modest. I got a lot of things I want to accomplish before I get a Birkin bag.
For real.
So funny. But I love it, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me on the
Thank you.
Pink Forest.
Thank
It's
you for
such a
having
pleasure.
us.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I hope that everybody's going to be inspired, and I'm sure they will be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Got some
You're
gems.
welcome.
Oh, this was so beautiful.